Hey everyone, Living in Furnace here, and welcome back finally to vlogging time. It's been quite a while, at this point I'm not having any Let's Plays, and um, I won't be for a while because I got a job doing taxes over the tax season from mid-January to mid-April. So for now, I'm just gonna do this vlog. It's New Year's, so I figured I'd do a little year in review with my Club Nintendo calendar. Um, but yeah, I'm calling myself Living in Furnace now because I decided, instead of like having something that people see as like some kind of generic name, I decided I'd go with like a video game kind of thing, Living in Furnace. And it's still kind of similar to my name, so that's cool. Although it's been a while since I played Grand Theft Auto game, I only have like 4 and 5, and on games with Windows I have GTA 3, but I don't use that anymore, and it's kind of out, so whatever. Anyways. Let's go through this calendar because I've written quite a bit here. I guess I'll. Okay, I'll just. So an overarching narrative you might find, and that I haven't really documented exactly, is that I became sort of a casual fan of Bernie Sanders. I donated by the beginning of this year, probably like $18 or so, or maybe 30, something like that. And over time, overall, I donated like $60 to his campaign. Of course, that didn't work out because some say it was always corruption because Hillary the DNC is horrible, and yeah, that played a part of it. But there's also the thing that everyone knows the Clintons, and the old folks think, oh yeah, Clintons are great, and Hillary, sure, fine. And of course, the whole Madam President angle really worked out for her. That's why we have the same down here in the South Central Florida district here. We've had like the same woman as the representative for like about 30 years since Bush Senior took office. Since the late '80s. But so that's that. Anyways, let's get on with it. Because, okay, let me just finish off this thought. Okay, so I went from sort of a casual fan of Bernie Sanders to someone who's gotten kind of interested in this kind of thing in my local area, of like activism and such, You'll notice that. And I'm even maybe considering like running for Congress or some kind of other legislative or some other kind of role later on. I don't know. Probably not next election, but in 2020, significant chance. It's a solid maybe. All right, January. Since I'm starting off with this, I had some kind of not so important stuff. I also have some rather personal things, so I'm gonna keep that out. So let's see. Like for instance, I said that I got like shaving stuff. Probably, I think the Gillette Mach Pro or something like that, Mach 3. Now I use a Schick Hydro. Because I don't know, I just and mostly because I was like watching the ads, and also the Gillette razors tended to get like a lot of hairs stuck in them. Same thing with Harry's razors too, and I guess with the Dollar Shave Club, I imagine too. I don't know. It always bugs me when razors do that, but luckily the Schick Hydro tends to not be that way, so that's all right. So let's see. I also have to shave. You might notice that I only shave like once every 3 days, maybe two. So I had a couple of interviews. One was in pretty far away. Let's see. My unofficial, like an unofficial stepfather. His daughter visited. She was going on some kind of road trip or something. I had another interview. I ate a Dunkin' Donut. I actually don't think I went to Dunkin' Donuts any other time besides this time in mid-January. Let's see. My uncle's my mother's brother. My uncle's family is, I think, like parents-in-law. Yeah, his parents-in-law visited. That was nice. Let's see. I played through Undertale in 2.5 hours. That was that stream I had on Martin Luther King Day. When I think I'm pretty sure I was doing a pacifist run, and I think I might have had like a challenge on it too. I think I have I uploaded a bit of that when I was fighting Undyne, and maybe also Papyrus, but I don't think so. Let's see here. I beat Lysandra in Pokemon Y. I guess I got it pretty early on, I think last year or the year before Majora's Mask 3D came out, and I bought that along with the new 3DS, and I also got Pokemon Y, and I kind of slowly got into it. Now I've beaten it twice so far. By now, not by then. By January, I was just kind of finally getting back into it. Let's see. Passed out my resume in a sort of financial district area that's kind of like Wall Street, I guess. It might pretty much, like a small version of Wall Street. A lot of banks and financial institutions. Because I'm trying to be an accountant here. Hopefully I'm kind of on the edge of running out of time with having passed the CPA exam, so I probably at this point I probably won't be a certified accountant, but we'll see. I'll see about that. I'll try. I'll see if I can. All right, February. It won't be so big as January. Okay. So let's see. I wrote down I got a haircut, which I do every month. I saw Super Bowl 50, and that was pretty good. With I drank some champagne with my mom and stepdad. I was also playing Freedom Wars on the Vita. That was pretty cool. Although I haven't been playing it much, I only played it up to the first chapter's ending or boss or something. I just don't like the whole theme of oh, you're a slave because you have amnesia, that thing. I don't like that. So I started a temp job, and that was the only job I had this year. It's I believe it's for only 1.5 months. Yeah. And at that point, I also noticed my bank account going dry, so luckily I had the job there. And see, I donated blood. I don't think I donated blood much. Usually I do it 3 times a year. Now it was maybe once or twice. Okay. I'm kind of skipping some kind of personal stuff, so bear with me here. Just switch up my positioning here. I spent a weekend with my grandparents as my grandfather was passing away. He was not doing well. Cancer was taking him down. Um, but I did get to spend a few moments with him, including when I was about to go. My grandparents are up in New York, so I had to fly up there and get back. It was just a weekend, so I'd go up there and get back for my job. Um, but yeah, I got to spend last moment with him. He got out of his bed, sat down, we had a little chat, although he could barely talk. On the 8th, I went to the Bernie Sanders rally in Miami, downtown Miami, which is, let me think, it's pretty close to that kind of financial district, I guess, in the shadow of it, one could say. It was really good, started off. I think I was playing Pokemon Y. Yeah, I was playing Pokemon Y, leveling up my Charizard, which I of course named Bernie because hey, why not? Um, and yeah, I was doing that while waiting a couple hours because it took a while. And then Tulsi Gabbard showed up with sort of a warm up speech, mostly about foreign policy, Hillary and her wars. And then Bernie had a speech, basically what he was saying most of the time. Let's see. I so in the middle of the month, a couple weeks after I visited him, my grandfather passed away. I heard about that from my dad, my father, and then I went to my grandfather's funeral with him. Um, and it was just with the family, and it was in a nice kind of like not like it was like like there was a cemetery, but there were also like a kind of a wall of coffins. So that was interesting. Let's see. And okay, at the end of March, the job I had ended. I also wrote down like kind of inconsequential things like, oh, I saw Hillary Clinton get her big lead in delegates, and I also bought Keebler cookies, pretty good. I think they were made in the U.S. Yeah, because I was buying them instead of Chips Ahoy because in Nabisco in Mexico. So April, it's got a nice blue color to it. In the middle of April, I got my wisdom teeth removed, and as a result, I was having some penicillin and painkillers to deal with the pain and swelling. And in case some bacteria got in the crevices, where my teeth were. And then week after that, pretty eventful week. First of all, I did some phone banking for Bernie. I did some earlier, I guess. Probably phone banked for him like 5 or 6 times. I phone banked for Tim Canova. I'll mention him in a second. I phone banked for Tim Canova and Zephyr Teachout, and I think maybe one other. Just one time each for like an hour or two. So I phone bank for Bernie at the AFL-CIO in my local area by the airport, by the Miami airport. And I also the day after that, funny thing, I when I was phone banking, one of Tim Canova's, I guess the people helping out with his campaign. They were stopping by, helping out, and they said, "Oh, hey, we're having an event tomorrow." So I went up to downtown Hollywood where his campaign office was, and I think he's kept it and kind of converted it to his Progress for All office. So yeah, he was just talking about like how he's trying to get a debate with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. He did get it, but it was on a Sunday morning. But I think I did. Oh, sorry. I think I did catch watching it, at least at least online. Um, so that was nice. I also gave to his campaign. I was like the first person, maybe the only one, to just like, here, have a $10 bill. So that was pretty cool, you know. He also signed my copy of Bernie Sanders. Um, I think it's called Outsider in the White House. The 19 the mostly 1990s based autobiography that Bernie wrote. So the day after that, there was the New York primary. You know, I was disappointed in Bernie's performance, but I was kind of surprised at Trump's performance. He won majorities in every district, except for one of them, which I think probably the one next to Lake Erie or something, like right next to Ohio. John Kasich's Ohio, that is. So I kind of became a fan of his campaign. You know, he was going on this kind of new, like his slogan or some kind of hashtag was New York values. So I latched onto it. So I bought a shirt of that, and I bought a MAGA hat. At this point now, I'm just I mean, I'm probably not gonna wear them ever because I don't like the way he's turning out. You know. Anyways, time better get on with it. Let's see. I went to a health seminar. I think that was in Biscayne. Wait, Key Biscayne. A lot of scientists and just old folks over there. So that was nice. I went. Okay, I had another interview. I think that was up in Pembroke Pines, so another far away drive. I was kind of hoping I'd get that job and then be able to stay up there, but that didn't turn out to be the case. As you might guess, you know, I only had that one temporary job this past year. Let's see. I went to my local video game club. Oh, I forgot to mention about that video game club at my university, UM. Um, what was I gonna? So I mentioned like a year ago that I was planning on trading in my PS4. Of course, after my PS Plus ran out, which is going to happen, I think, like a day or two from now. So eventually I decided to just hand it into the video game club because they said that they were like in the market for buying one. And they said they were just going to get the original, so I handed them my original PS4, the old bulky one that isn't quite as fast. So then I visited a Universalist Unitarian church. It was actually kind of nestled in a senior citizen community. Kind of funny how like communities around here are kind of split up. You know, you have senior citizens here and there, and then you have some African Americans, and then you have sort of Hispanics, and then like the Cubans with their small businesses, and then like here and there some like small areas, like small neighborhoods, like I guess the one I live in, with the just plain white folks, you know, mostly WASPs. So anyways, time for May. Oh man, we're about 20 minutes in. So in May, let's see here. I shopped for groceries. I visited my grandmother's sister. Grandmother down here, my maternal grandmother, one of the Cubans. Or Cuban Americans, that is, you know. Let's see, went to have a meal with her. I went with my uncle, the same uncle, to Fairchild Gardens. I think I might have gone twice there with him. Maybe 3 times, I'm not sure. And let's see. and some of this is personal. I got my pants hemmed, I guess, from a tailor. They're a little too long, so got them hemmed. Went on a nice vacation on weekend, the end of May, to Naples. Stayed at the Ritz-Carlton with my stepfather, my stepdad and my mom. We went to the beach and we spent some time with his family there. And let's see, we did another job application kind of thing. June, all right. Wrote down about the California primary. Oh boy, California, Bernie might pull it out, and he didn't. I had another interview. Spent a week at my grandmother's house, I guess because my mom and stepdad were away on a vacation. Probably on a cruise, I guess. Since it was a week, maybe it was. Or maybe just going somewhere. I don't know. Maybe seeing relatives somewhere. And I had another interview. You're seeing these kind of skimming out, thinning out. That's it. So let's see. I did some aerobics and at the gym. I mean, I did that sometimes, but it was only like kind of on and off kind of thing. And I had another interview. You see, I mean, it's really thinning out, so I'm gonna kind of hurry up here. So August, went with my grandmother. We had lunch at a kind of a strange Cuban diner. Like they had like my meal with it. There was like some kind of thing. There was like not quite potatoes and not quite, I guess, it might have been like mashed yuca, which is like potatoes, I guess. I'm not sure. And then I did phone banking for Tim Canova. And it didn't work out, but hey. At least he's still in the game, kind of, and doing some kind of organizing and such, You'll see that later in this. So in September, I protested the TPP by Senator Rubio's office. I think there's another protest I don't have written down here, so I better put that up. Better write that down for record keeping, So I had there was actually Tim Canova was there earlier than I was, but a couple of his surrogates were there, so that was nice. Met them. There was another interview, and then I canceled another interview because I was kind of not feeling it. I at this point I'm not feeling it with interviews. I've handed out my resume so much, you'll see. So I've gotten kind of pessimistic about that. All right, October. Not much, really. I had an interview, and I went bowling with some friends, some acquaintances. All right, November. Of course, in November, Trump was elected president, and when people say, "Oh, well, you should have voted for Hillary," I can say, "Hey, I didn't vote for him," and hey, whatever. The Rust Belt just barely tipped in his favor, and he won. Or the Industrial Belt. Apparently, Keith Ellison doesn't like it being said like that. And, okay, fine, The Industrial Belt. How about that? Then I passed out my resume to local area. Basically, the aforementioned area with the Cubans with a lot of small businesses. A few of them were accountants, so I passed out my resume to them. Then there was Thanksgiving at my stepdad's sister's house. Um, it was she also had like she likes to cook, so and she's Jewish, so we celebrated Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur at her house as well. And finally, December. Okay. All right. I passed my resume out in kind of farther away, like not in my not in my city, but in a nearby city, like an adjacent kind of city. Let's see, and then I got a job offer for that tax work I mentioned, and another interview, and then I spent Christmas. I had a Christmas Eve dinner at my uncle, the same uncle I mentioned. Again, I think probably for like the third time. And Christmas Day at my mom's house for like the third time. My mom's house being here, by the way. And I also protested the Sabal Trail pipeline. Tim Canova was actually there with his posse. So, I met him again. We held up some signs, signed some petitions. He made a speech outside Senator Nelson's office. And yeah, and then I had New Year's dinner with my grandmother. I also had another. I didn't write it down, but there was another protest I joined against not the Sabal Trail pipeline, but the big one. The Dakota Access Pipeline. So I protested that with some people. I think that was with the Miami-Dade College in the Wolfson campus. We were marching around that area, which is actually, it's also pretty much in that kind of downtown area where that Bernie rally was. So yeah, it has been quite an eventful year. I've become significantly an activist. I still gotta, I gotta do something, like getting a job, of course, and probably gonna be doing some more applications and interviews. A few more, I imagine. I mean, there's gotta be something, right? Right? Yeah. Well, in any case, that's that. That's my year. As for this channel, might as well mention, I'm kind of letting this go by the wayside. Maybe after I finish up that tax work job, I might do another Let's Play of Paper Mario, as I mentioned. Yeah. And let me think. So conclusion, just more of this conclusion. This has been a really eventful year. My interests have kind of shifted from video games. Like the last video game I bought was Dark Souls 3. And I'm only, I guess, about halfway through. Like I just passed the big demon boss that's in the catacombs. Yeah, so, yeah. Anyways, well, and also, yeah, my interests have transitioned from video games to politics. I started off being pretty capitalist. I kind of heard what Donald Trump was saying, what Gary Johnson was saying, and I was thinking like, yeah, capitalism pretty much works. But now that I think about it, the profit motive doesn't necessarily, rarely, it rarely keeps in mind the needs of the populace, of everything, of like the needs of employees and customers, you know how that is. So now, like, I hope by the time that I pass away, we kind of transition to more democracy and more socialism through that democracy, not through some like big wig, some tough guy, like a Castro or Stalin or Kim Jong, So yeah, I am a democratic socialist. Goodbye.